Adelante, nuestra noble tradición tienes que defender, porque lleva.
Well, good afternoon and welcome back to That Tenerife podcast with me, Rick. And yes, I do apologise. I am a week late, but as normal, some things can't be helped. Modern technology got the better of me. I thought my computer was going to go and visit that great, Steve Jobs in the sky, thanks to Apple. But I thought it died. I really had. Completely thought it'd gone. Had to take it down to a place called BGR Solutions in Los Cristianos, and I've got to tell you, those guys absolutely pulled it out of the bag for me. They did an amazing job. So thanks a lot to the guys down at BGR for getting us up and running. So we are a week late. You'll find us in Grandy O'Donnell's today. We are in the bar on Golf del Sur. It's the Irish bar. The reason why we're here is because today it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to this one. We're going to be having a chat with Ray Wilde. We all know Ray Wilde most probably from the radio of Coast FM, from that bit in the middle that he does, normally weekdays 10 till 2. Is also a compere and a host in here as well. He does singing across the golf as well. You tend to find him pretty much all over the golf. There's always going to be background noise because, as mentioned earlier, we're in a working bar, and with a working bar we get working noise as well, but that's what we like about it. Just want to say a couple of things. Don't forget to like the page if you do enjoy it, and click on that subscribe button. It's down here somewhere. I think it's over that side or it's over that side, one or the other. There's a little square, you'll see it from there. So, here he is, the man himself. This man is the bit in the middle. Ray, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you very much. How are you?
We finally managed to get hold of you. Thank you very much.
Well, we've both been busy, haven't we?
Oh, God. Well, the thing for me is, I've just explained earlier, modern technology got the better of me. It absolutely killed me this week. So I've managed to get it all up and running. Thanks to the guys BGR. We know BGR as well.
Yeah.
And this is your local?
Well, this is, you can find me in here. Well, at the moment, I'm only doing a couple of nights a week, but usually it's 3 nights a week and then 3 in the other bar, which is the Wild Geese.
Because the Wild Geese is also owned by the same owners?
They're the same owners, 2 Irish bars.
They
very
have a couple
similar.
more, don't they?
No. They've got hands in other businesses, but two.
And you already
got
your Guinness in?
Well, of course, I have to.
I'll drink
do that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
I can't do Guinness. It's not that drink for me at all. It's not a drink for me. I know you've got such a busy schedule. I know a lot's been going on. I've got loads to you to talk about. I've got loads to ask you as well about things that have been happening. Before we do that, I don't know. Are you aware of some of That Tenerife podcast? Have you seen something that we do?
You've seen, doing very well.
Right, fantastic. Well, one of the things that we do, and no looking on here, we actually do a little bit of stalking.
Okay.
The reason why we do the stalking is to see what's on the social media and see what people have got going on social media.
Oh dear, you haven't been looking at mine, have you?
Well, we'll find out what you got from there. You went to Droitwich Spa High School.
I did.
Right, where the hell's that? I've never even heard of it.
Worcestershire, just south of Birmingham.
I looked it up, and the spelling of it, Droitwich.
Yeah, Droitwich.
So there's a place called Droitwich.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're from Droitwich, I do apologise. I've never even heard of it. Do you know you have 3,334 friends on Facebook?
I've got 3,300. Well, I've got 5 friends, but I've got 3,000.
Facebook, you've got 3,334. We're going to spend the rest of this podcast just naming them. Your first check-in that you ever did was at Yeolde Ocean in Adehi on January the 1st, 2008.
I was quite late getting onto all this social media.
I know, but you love your check-ins, because I've just, on the Facebook, when you check in at places, like I'll check in at Grandy O'Donnell's today, you're checking in all over the place. So I thought, where are you going first? And the first was Yeolde Ocean. Do you remember it?
I was working there.
You were working?
Yeah.
Because it's New Year's Day.
Well, yeah, it was really. As I say, I was quite late getting onto social media, so we used to use Oh, do you remember what was the old yard? Well,
Don't say MySpace.
Yeah. Somebody said, "Will you come on MySpace?" And I was like, oh, "You're getting mixed up with Facebook, and then you're not coming on my Facebook."
Friends Reunited.
Friends Reunited. Yeah.
I remember them days as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is it as well because I've been here 20 years in Tenerife, and my first real sort of logging into any sort of social media was when I was at the Old Ocean. I worked a few places before that.
Is that a bar that's still going?
It's not now. No, it was. You know, well, of course, there was the Old Ocean. There was the what's the one that's still there now? I forgot what it's called now.
I don't know the area that very well.
It's on Fanny Bay, on the Fanny Bay Beach. The Moonlight Bar. It was There was a Moonlight Bar, the Old Ocean, and First and Last, and it was just when that had just been built, that new stretch along there. And again, it was 3 bars, 1 owner. So, and they were all in the same vicinity, so it was quite weird.
Okay. Carrying on just with the stalking bit as well. I got it wrong actually because looking down on the system, it showed me that you liked Wolves. Yet I can clearly see now that you're a Birmingham. So is it both of them, or you're one or the other?
I don't know where you got Wolves from.
I'll show you on your Facebook.
Oh, do you know what? That's going to be quite weird, isn't it?
So you're a Birmingham City fan?
Birmingham City, yeah.
Through and through.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I only know actually one other person who's a Birmingham. Jamie Palmer. He's a Birmingham City fan. Palmer, he likes the Birmingham City as well.
Jamie.
So well done from there. You're a fan of Fender Dogs Band and the Veta Say Boys Band?
Do you know what? This is probably stuff that's come up over the years of being on. You know when people say like this, like this.
Ah, right.
And you know when you say you've got 3,300 and whatever friends on there, the amount of times, and I got to a point where I just stopped doing it. You know, when somebody says, "Can you like this? Can you like this?" and sorry if you're one of these people, but because I'm one of these as well. That like Coast FM, like you know this or other bars.
Well, I think you've realised now the power of social media, and the power of the reach that it gives from there as well. Just finishing off on Thursday, the 21st of July, 2011, you made a note on your Facebook. So that's 9 years ago. Many thanks to all that helped with the bear shoot.
Oh yeah.
What on earth is a bear? You're out bear shooting.
Oh, when you look back, it sounds like
I was like, what on earth?
We. Because you know I did the song Yogi Bear, and it was the old rugby song,
yes.
Yogi Bear. And it was about beginning of 2011, a record company, in fact, Fidget Records in Coventry, got in touch with me, and they said, a guy called Barry Diston says, I want to do a dance remix of Yogi Bear. He says, because he records like Lisa Lashes and all the big sort of dance tunes, and he says I want to put a dance tune together. He says, and I found that you did the song. Right. Would you mind if I do it? So I said, yeah, okay. What do you want? So he said, send me your voice. So I sent the voice of the song. He then did the dance mix behind it. Yeah. And suggested, well, how are we going to sell this? And I said, do you fancy coming to Tenerife? I says, and we'll do a video. So he came along. There was 2 cameramen. He got all the stuff and the green sheet and all that. And and he says, right, what do we do? He had 4 days.
4 days to shoot this video.
To shoot this video, right? So I decided that if you've ever seen the video,
no, but I'll definitely start looking it up now. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah,
we'll look at that one.
And we decided that. We were going to have, you know, like on Channel 4 at 5 o'clock in the morning, you've got the guy doing the sign language.
Yeah.
I got a guy to do that, right? So the whole video is with this guy.
This guy signing?
But it's all made up sign.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so like what had happened was in the Old Ocean, I had some people come in and they said, do you mind if we sign? We can sign. And we don't sing. So I was like, okay, so I did Angels, and they did Angels. And I know I had Yogi Bear on my karaoke with the words.
Yeah.
And these 2 women, I says, yeah, have a go at this. So they started, and obviously the word for bear was...
That's bear?
That was bear. Yeah,
it's like Tommy Cooper.
So, yeah. But of course, the last line, if you've heard the song, and I don't know whether I'm allowed to say it, but...
Come on, if you beep it, I'll put beeps in if you need to.
I'm not like that, right?
Right, okay.
So when it comes to that last bit...
We'll beep that one out.
We'll beep that one out. So when it comes to that last word, I'm thinking, what has got to be has got to be the sign for bear, right? And it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So when we did the video shoot, we decided that we'd just have a bit of fun with it, and the guy who did the sign language for me, Mick, he used to just mess around with doing sign language. So try to learn a bit of it.
How did that do anything in the charts? Did that make any way?
It went into the dance charts. So when we released it, it got into the top 10 on the dance, the proper dance charts.
Really?
As I say, Fidget Records and
amazing.
And Barry Diston. If you look it up, it was, and we actually recorded the first bit in Coast FM. We got it, and it was I can't remember who the DJ was, but we had.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, no, it was good. So we'd finished the bear shoot.
Yeah.
And he brought over a bear costume with him, right?
But it's sweltering, wasn't it?
Oh, well, with so many different people had to wear the bear costume, and people would say, "What's it?" And there's a little twist at the end. Watch it.
I'll definitely watch it. Look it up on YouTube. We'll have a look for that one as well. You're a fan of walking football, I know that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a rough game, I've heard. All these elderly walking.
I don't know about
I'm going to
walking.
put ourselves in L down for I'm going in there anyway. But it's like my back's gone, so if I'm going to do it, it would be walking football. I've heard it's rough as.
I think it's too fast. They're very. I mean, it's more like getting into a run than walking. I think I'm more like sitting down and holding a beer football. I think I'm more of a spectator for me.
And one of the things that you don't mind, which I find interesting as well, you recommended the Rosie in South Shields on the 12th of June 2014. Now, I've been in the Rosie in South Shields as well, because I've been up in Newcastle, up in Cramlington. Not coming from there, but I've been in that pub. I remember that. Is that the one? Was that the one on the corner?
It's right on the front. And you've got the time going by.
A beautiful view.
But no, we used to play. It was the only bar because I used to work. As my Tipsy Kings, when we used to go with the Tipsy Kings.
Yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to go there. We're going to talk about that.
But the hotel round the corner was the Little Haven Hotel.
We're going to talk about that.
And the thing was that the only place that we were allowed to play was at Bob's place, because the owner of the Little Haven was on the committee and was helping Bob against the government when they were trying, the council wanted to knock it down, and so he would speak on behalf of Bob. So they're good mates.
Right.
But this fella, and I tell you what, this fella was a friend of John Miles. John Miles, music.
Oh, yeah.
Every year, John Miles has a big concert, a big proms in Germany, and because Bob was his mate, he would go over every year and be like a guest. He knew nothing about music, he was just friends with John.
Yeah.
And he had got this photo book for 20 years with him, with Seal, Gloria Gaynor.
Really?
Literally, you would name any artist, Sting, and it would just be Bob and this person, and we go through it. And any time I go in, if I took people in, I go, Bob, get your book out. Cliff Richard.
It's got the most random photo album.
Yeah, most weirdest, and you look through it and go, who's that with Bob?
That's bizarre. That's bizarre.
Brilliant.
So that's the stalking done, Ray. That's pretty much all it is. It's not too bad. I've seen a lot worse than that. People on Instagram, people on Snapchat. Do you even know what Snapchat is? Have you heard of this?
Haven't got a clue.
My kids live on it, mate. You ask your kids, they'll know. You've got a couple of kids as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got two boys.
Two boys.
And we were talking about this at the start of lockdown. You were on TikTok.
Oh, God, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
You know what? I thought you meant Tic Tac, so I wasn't quite sure. But
yeah, I've apologised for that already if anybody's seen that, that's for sure. It's 2020. How long have you been on the island now?
20 years.
You've been here 20 years?
Literally arrived in March 2000, just after the millennium.
I want to talk about how did that decision come about to go, that's what I'm going to do, that's where I want to be?
I'd worked before in Portugal. I did about 2.5 years in Portugal.
So you'd already been abroad before?
I'd been abroad before,
right, okay.
yeah. And ended up in Blackpool, which was not my hometown, but I did quite well. I enjoyed Blackpool. But
and can I ask, what is it you were doing? Were you...
I was... Go on then, do you want me to say?
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
I left Droitwich High School. Have you ever heard of Droitwich?
I know.
We were lucky at Droitwich because we had a proper theatre. We had a 250-seater tiered theatre with a stage, the wings and everything. Yeah. So I was into drama. We also had a proper music block. I played violin, played guitar. So I left school basically with O-level music and O-level drama.
All right.
But I was into doing lighting and sound. I was a lighting and sound technician.
Yeah.
So when I left school, I ended up going on tours with doing the lights for the likes of Bob Carrollgees.
Did you?
Bob Carrollgees with Lucky Bear, the Barron Knights.
Bob Carrollgees, Spit the Dog, wasn't it?
Spit the Dog,
no, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Bob Carrollgees, sorry, sorry. Can I start again?
Yeah,
sorry. Bob Carrollgees, yeah.
Who had Lucky Bear?
It was, I did both. It was Roger De Courcy.
Roger De Courcy.
That's
a name I never thought I'd hear saying again.
Yeah, no, and one of the first guys I was on tour with was a guy called Bernie Clifton.
With the Ostrich?
With the Ostrich. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, he was so funny. I loved Turkey.
Oh my God, so you've been you had a taste of it, really, in the UK when you came out of school. And then you went off to Portugal.
Then, I went off to Portugal. I had a bit of a time where I just sort of got married and then got divorced. And
I think we're all been through that. We're getting through that one anyway.
Went to Portugal, had a couple of years in Portugal, came back. I was in Blackpool doing DJing. I got back into doing DJing, and that was, I mean, that was just, I was out doing karaoke, first taste of karaoke, so putting myself, but what it was, I'd worked with all these people. I worked with the Chuckle Brothers, Keith Chegwin, God bless them, and you know, and I was watching all their shows twice a day. Yeah. So you get to see. I mean, one of my biggest influences was Shane Ritchie and Brian Connolly. They were good mates.
Really?
Yeah, Shane Ritchie. Oh, he was
from EastEnders and all that. Yeah, I know more from EastEnders. Yeah, but before, Brian Connolly, obviously, a fantastic comedian. I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I thought
that's
Brian.
That to me, sorry to interrupt. That's proper variety entertainment.
Oh yeah. I mean, Brian Connolly to me was like, wow, unbelievable.
He was in his heyday. He was massive.
Yeah.
He was massive. So from there, you decided then to come to Tenerife.
Yeah.
And when you came to Tenerife, what was your plan to do in Tenerife? What was your plan?
Well, the same as any. I think I wanted to work abroad because I'd worked abroad. I loved the idea, and it was just to see what had happened, what would go. And from the day I arrived, I've been working. So
it was working as comparing, singing, entertaining.
A different part of my life, but I needed to work. I didn't go on the circuit as an entertainer because I was watching a lot of them get cancelled, and at the time I couldn't afford to. I decided that I'm better off being in one place and running all around the place and getting cancelled or having to try and find another gig, and it suited me.
So you actually went looking for a residency almost in a place where, because a residency for yourself would be somewhere where you know it's safe, you know it's regular,
basically,
viable, and that's how it all started.
That's how it all started. Yeah.
So you've got that then, and then obviously I know you've got the two boys, and obviously with the age of them, you've obviously didn't come over with them as well. Have you always lived on the Gulf?
Yes, until I worked downtown, and then I moved down to, when I was working at St Eugene's, I got a place down in.
Is St Eugene that one on the corner?
Yeah, the big one.
Oh, you worked down there?
I was compere there for 5 years.
Oh, right.
Four and a half years,
Yeah, they've just changed a bit now, isn't it? It's a bit like, is it pizza? What's it? Oh man, the world, Tenerife is changing too much. So you moved down to St Eugene's, and then from there you've done. What made you come back up onto the Gulf?
Well, the guy we were renting off was selling the house.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to move quite quickly because he wanted us to move out in a month, and we were going to Disney that month, and I was like, found a place up here.
Right. But Disney's finished. Only last year.
No, this was 4 years. No, I went to Disney Paris.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, decided that turning 50, I decided I was going to tick off my bucket list. And
I saw that as well. For any of you not aware of it, that was last year, wasn't it?
Last year,
I'm trying to get aging really, but when you turned 50, you had a bucket list going on there. I saw that on social media, and one of them was go to Disney. Oh, get a tattoo as well. Unbelievable. How did that hurt?
No,
you're all right with it.
I was all right.
Are you addicted to them now? You're going to go for more? People say once you have one, you're going to have more.
No. I did it. I went to go and see Birmingham play Villa, which is I've never been, even though being a Birmingham fan, I was never allowed to growing up.
No?
Nope, because the rivalry back in the 70s, you know, I mean, you had the Zulus and the big groups of fighting and all that.
That was the days of hooliganism.
But the day I went was when Grealish got hit by the fan on the pitch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and my mate flew over, and so when I got back, I said I went back to Birmingham for a riot, and a football match broke out.
How many on this? How many things on this bucket list did you have?
Well, wanted to go and see Bon Jovi, and luckily
did you see them?
Yeah, they were playing in Madrid. So
you got to Madrid to see Bon Jovi?
Bon Jovi. I went to go and see the Birmingham Villa derby. Went to the States. Went to Disney in the States.
Disney in the States. Yeah, I've done that. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And I got drunk on my birthday. I had we had Ray Fest, didn't we? We had Ray Fest.
Yes, I remember the Ray Fest. I remember hearing about that as well. That was really quite.
And to be honest, it was a good job. It was last year and not this year.
It'd have been. I think this year it'd have been a complete wipeout, wouldn't it?
Well, I wouldn't have done any of the things. Everything that I planned to do for my 50th would have been scrapped.
Really?
Yeah. Well, of course. You know,
there's just absolutely nothing could have been done. You wasted a fortune as well because it must have cost a lot of money and all the cancellations that you got from that.
Yeah, no,
so we were quite lucky from that.
No, we were very lucky. So.
So where do we find you at the moment? We find you here in Grandy's.
Yeah, I'm here in Grandy's. When the Wild Geese opens, I'll be down there, basically looking after the entertainment for the two bars.
Have we any news about when that might be?
We're on
October the 12th at the moment in 2020, so it's just really.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's depending, as you were saying earlier, it's depending on what's happening with the UK government, what's happening.
You'll find that out today, I think. Yeah. How are you finding Grandies at the moment?
I think like everybody, it's weird. It's strange. You know, we've done our best to try and keep entertainment on. We're doing 4 nights a week now. I'm doing 2. We've got Irish Frank on a Sunday, and we've got Ronnie Joe Haynes on a Thursday with the steak night. But yeah, it's what I don't get. What I don't get is like on a Saturday night, and you've got 1 week I had 4 people sat there in front of me. You know, on a Saturday night.
On a Saturday night.
Yeah, and to be fair, they all enjoyed it, but you know, it's just.
Well, those days is when you've got to really pull it out the.
Oh yeah, I mean, one thing it has done is put me back to being Ray Wilde. It's put me back to not being complacent. It's put me back to thinking about what I'm going to do next, rather than just going through the motions.
Just going through the motions, and just because today it was just another gear get section, you just went the same thing, but now you actually really got to think about it. Oh, you
really have. It's so difficult, so different.
Well, I can see our peers are running out, so I think it's about time we went to the bar and got some more. So back in a second, and we'll get some more. So the funny, we've replenished. Cheers, Ray. Back again. Replenished, all done. Cheers, Seth. Thank you very much, Seth. We're down at Grandy O'Donnell's on Golfdale Shirt, and we're talking Ray Wilde from that bit in the middle, which we're going to talk about in a second. Our paths have crossed a couple of times throughout the years without us even knowing it.
That's
and
right.
The reason being is because me, Manchester lads, went up to Newcastle, been up there for 15 years. I know of the Little Haven Hotel, I know of it, which is in South Shields, isn't it?
Shields.
And I know I've heard of the Tipsy Kings. Now, I didn't know you were in this.
Right.
What's the story about the Tipsy Kings? How did this go around? Come about?
Well, as an entertainer, quite often people will come up to you and say, "Oh, we love your show. We'd like you to come back and sing at a wedding, or we'd like you to come back and do something in our pub." And most of the time, you just think, you know, it's not going to materialise. There's nothing's going to happen about this. But you humour people, because when they think about it, if you've got to pay the flights, the money you lose from work, you know, putting you up and everything else, it's not cost effective.
So it's not viable.
Not viable at all. But a friend of mine who owns the Little Haven, it was a couple, Adrian and Heather, and they asked me 15 years ago whether I'd fancy going back, and I was with James Darling at the time, James and Rush. And they said, "Look, we'd like you to come back." Long story short, I went away, and they arranged for them to go back. And because when they went back, they hadn't got a work permit, and they were from South Africa, they got arrested at the airport.
No, really?
They got arrested at the airport. So they did one gig on the night time and had to fly back, and they promised that they would never do it. So in a pub one night only.
Just between us. There you go.
Yeah, nobody
exclusive.
So a week later, Adrian and Heather came back over, and they were telling me, and they said, "Look, we need to be able to get them over, but we've worked out how to do it. They need to go to Madrid, get all the paperwork. Would you be involved with it?" So we started it off then. So we went back, and then we did a three-part harmony show, which went down really well as their Motown show, and that was it. The Tipsies were born. It was just meant to be a swing into Christmas.
It became a yearly occurrence,
yeah,
didn't it?
Well, I mean, we started off with 3 shows the first year.
Yeah.
The next year we had 7, and then it went up to 24.
24 shows, so it's just based all the way through December?
All the way through December.
And that was down at the Little Haven?
Every afternoon, and then we did Thursday and Friday nights. And every time we finished, it'd be fully booked again. And it was a little bit like the turkey and tinsel. And they'd be bussing them in. You see, I mean, it was so funny. And over the years, it was just, we had so much fun with the Tipsies. And of course, your Shelley was part of the Tipsies once.
She was part of it once.
Yeah, well, she stood in.
You never told me that.
Did you know her?
No. Who did she stand in for?
For Mia.
For Mia? Right, okay.
Mia couldn't go in for a couple of days, so we had
Shelley
stood in for the Tipsies. Yeah, I've had obviously James Darling's been there, Gus Myers, Simply Mo. Who else have we had? We've had a few people that have been in. It's always been 3 parts. And
so what was happening for you then? When you were living over here most probably 11 months of the year in effect, because on the December you were actually flying back to the UK, back up into South Shields, and then you had a month full of
and then back here for Christmas
obligations. Back over for Christmas.
Yeah.
What, and then back again, or were you here then?
No, well,
doing all the Christmas, New Year stuff around here.
Yeah, Christmas, New Year here, and then I did 2 years when I lost my job at one of the bars, I won't mention which bar it was, when I came back, and they said, I came back for Christmas, and I come back and I did Christmas and New Year, and they said, oh, we decided that we're selling the bar, so we're not renewing your contract.
All right.
So I literally walked out and I went, God. So I phoned up Adrian and I said, Adrian, I just lost my job. I says, do you want to give me a booking for Christmas and New Year next year? And he said, yeah, of course I do.
Brilliant.
So, well, whatever happens now, whenever I take a job on, I will tell them that they can't have me Christmas and New Year because I got, you know what I mean? Because and I did a couple of years, and the last time I did it, my son was born on Christmas Day.
No.
Yeah, so I was over there on Christmas Day, and that was.
Oh my God.
And so he wasn't due.
How old's your son now?
He's 8.
He's 8. Yeah. When he gets to 18, he'll hold you to that.
I know.
So
but,
that's what kids do. That's amazing. That's incredible.
So he wasn't due until about the 8th of January, but
I bet your head was all over the place.
Oh, well, his name's Taylor, and
Taylor.
You probably don't know this, but we stood at the bar, and Michelle had gone in and had the phone call, and I said, do you want a drink? And I looked up, and there was a bottle of Taylor's sherry.
Yeah.
So I said, give us that bottle of Taylor's sherry. We drank the bottle, and I went, his name's Taylor.
That's a great story. Seriously, is that how it came about?
Yeah.
That's what, Taylor, you've been named after a bottle, son. Well done. It's a great name. I like the name. I really like the name. Ray, for me personally, what happened was this year we went into lockdown, and I've always been working. I do different jobs. Everybody knows on here that I'm sales and stuff like that. They know that. All of a sudden, I'm without work. I'm at home. I'm climbing the walls. The first thing I do is I put the radio on, and it's on the computer. I do everything on the computer, and it was Coast FM.
Right.
And I'm not used to lying in. I'm normally up at 6, but I'm getting used to this habit. And then after breakfast, we put this on, and at 10 o'clock we came on, and it was you. It was Ray Wilde's bit in the middle.
Yeah.
And without a shadow of a doubt, this is the reason why I wanted to talk to you, is because for me, you actually became the voice of COVID. I know it sounds awful, but I think to many, many people as well. This is the truth actually. Last week I was having a chat with somebody, and she said to me, who have you got on the next one? I love your podcast, I've got the next one. I was like, cheers. Hi Becky, by the way. And she said she saw you at the waterfall around the corner only a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, oh my God, it's the voice of COVID.
Yeah.
And that's what she actually thought about it. Did you realise at the time, because everybody was stopping working, you were going into work?
Yeah.
I even called in at your work a couple of times to see you, which we shouldn't have done, but we did. But it was one of those things, it was like, for me, it was that moment of COVID, coronavirus, lockdown, and yourself are synonymous, are actually joined together all the way through for like 2.5, 3 months. And that must have been the same for a lot of other people as well.
Yeah.
Did you realise what you were actually, in effect, you were having there?
I didn't at the time. I think I saw, when all this was playing out, I spoke to my boss and I said, look, I'm not being funny now. Now people can't go out, and they're looking for the information, especially if you're English speaking, and you can't get all the information at hand. Then it's best that if they switch on the radio. Now, obviously, there are other stations as well, and they've all done a tremendous job. I'm not saying, but it surprised me so much the amount of people that have said. I've been to the other islands as well.
Gran Canaria,
and been to
because Coast FM's in Gran Canaria,
Lanzarote and Fuerteventura. So, but I've. People have just come up to me and said, thank you very, very much for keeping us going through, and just on the street.
Well, I want to say thank you very much as well, because you did. It literally, I can't explain how it was. We had a routine. We got up. Shelley made the breakfast, hence the reason why I'm the size I am now. I'm trying to get the COVID weight off. But we had the breakfast, and then we had the radio on all day.
Yeah.
We don't watch TV, we're in and out of the house and stuff like that, but the radio was on all day, and it was always obviously the 10 till 2 slot.
Yeah.
And you started off giving us the 3 inspirational songs, you did that as well, which is absolutely brilliant. And it was part of our daily routine of COVID. And I think that was it for a lot of people as well.
I think it was trying to make the balance of what is entertainment, because we all knew it. I said it on the radio. I said, to be honest, this is shit. It really is. And whatever, you can't dress it up, and you don't. There were people dying, and you got people bickering with each other and everything else. And all we want to do is get through it. And I was trying to make it, we're all in it together. Let's get through this together. And unfortunately, we didn't know at the time how long it was going to last.
We're going to get locked down for 2 weeks. If you think you're going to get locked down for 2 weeks, put your hand up in the air and give yourself a slap. That was what somebody said on there, without that shadow of a doubt. But it was, for me, when I was listening to it all the time, it was part of the routine of going, right, we're up. we dressed, we showered, because we have to keep that routine going, stick Ray on, go out into the back garden. We're fortunate over here. I've mentioned on previous ones, we had a great lockdown, and you were part of that lockdown to make it great, because we had the space in the house, we could go out, we had the sunshine, you can go outside in the garden, etc. I can't imagine people, where I'm from, Manchester, in Salford, for instance, 10 floors up in a one-bedroom flat, locked in.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
No.
But the sunshine that you brought through to us was, did that, when you knew lockdown was happening, was there a pre-plan that, right, this is how it's going to play? Or, it sounds awful, or were you just winging it?
I think we were winging it. I mean, at one point we did sort of put, the studio into our individual houses, you know, the way that we could do.
Yeah.
So what we didn't want to do was like go, excuse me. What we didn't want to do is say, oh, well, it's all right for us to go and do what we do and make an excuse for it, which was quite strenuous. I mean, for a couple of weeks, because I've got the kids doing homeschooling. I'm trying to do the bits on the radio, you know, and you know, everything's happening around you. But you know, when you were saying about, did you realise there's two that meant really quite a bit to me. First one was, many people in the UK that couldn't get their holidays were listening in, and Betty and Chris, hiya Betty, you probably heard Betty and Chris mention,
I remember that.
Betty and Chris every morning without fail, they'd send me, and when they were meant to be here, they just, and they kept themselves going, sending me pictures of previous holidays as well, and you know, they kept me going. They were in Redditch just outside Droitwich, which is quite strange.
I've heard that so many times, I played so many times now. So they were actually, so you're saying that they actually helped you through it?
Well, they helped me through it, and I did a piece right at the end where I, just as we were coming out of lockdown, and I said, you know, perhaps there are some people that don't know how much they've been an inspiration to you and helped you get through lockdown, whether it's just a neighbour putting their head over the fence, somebody doing the groceries, you know, or somebody who's just been quite, just as a friend, and he was one of these people for me that I actually said, and I went, thank you very, very much, and he went, no, you've got, I said, no, and I did a piece, and I said, look, on this one day, I said, what I suggest we all do is have a think of who has meant a lot, because they won't know. No. And just send them a little message and say thank you.
Yeah.
But there was there's a lady who I met in Gran Canaria, bless her, and an elderly lady, and she'd been listening in for the whole show. Now, just before lockdown, her companion had gone back to the UK to have an operation, and then couldn't come back.
Oh no!
So she was in Gran Canaria by herself, right? She couldn't go out to see anybody, and all she had was the radio. And her daughter sent me a message and said, "Can you say hi to me, mum?" Right? I was like, and I made this big joke about, you know, oh well, I don't know her name, but anyway, when I was in Gran Canaria, she came up to me, and her companion had come back, and she said, "You know what? Thank you so much, and I want to buy you a drink, and I thought, you know what? These are the people. When you're in a room,
that must be extremely
it's
satisfying. And I mean, it's one of them things. It's like, again, I would like to thank you for the COVID, to getting me through it, or getting me and Shelley through it as well, because it was, as I said, I can't emphasise enough. Everybody's had routines, everybody's had their own routines when it was all happening, doing their own thing. For me, it was listening to yourself, and it was listening to the show that you did. It gave a routine, because I'm a very routine sort of person, and it put a routine into my life of going, all right, we're locked down, fair enough, but this is what's happening all the time. And it was like, well, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go and do my shop that you're allowed to go and do the one shop. I don't want to go. Ray's on. I'm listening to Ray, and then I'll do it after that. I'll do it after 2 o'clock. Yeah. And that's what happened to us, and as well. And it really, and again, if you don't realise it, that's, you know, credit to you, because it was that. It literally meant that much to me, and it means that much to me. Who is, I like to think I'm a strong character. I like to think I've got a strong will, you know, strong of mind. If it meant that much to me, then for some people who actually needed it, that to me, I think, is where you actually. Where you're an unsung hero, really, almost, to actually get to these people. Well,
I think we were doing that, weren't we? We were saying, you know, it was the key workers and everybody else, and there was a lot of people out there that was doing stuff that you didn't notice, because it was just
Did you realise you were a key worker? Because you were.
Well, not really. No,
you were bringing the news, you're bringing the story, you're bringing the information, the translations. You were getting it from all the websites, putting it into concise, and then bringing it through to people. So in essence, you were a key worker.
Yeah. I don't think I don't think anybody who is a key worker actually physically thinks that they're a hero. When somebody says you've done this, but you don't think that at the time, do you? No, I do. I remember the first time we were allowed out to walk, and my kids had been locked up inside, and we've got a balcony on the top floor of, and I took them out for a walk around the golf course, and we come past this one place, and somebody's in the garden, and they went, Ray, it's Ray. Can I just say thank you very much? You've kept, you know what I mean? And it's
that's
just
exactly
like,
what I mean.
Well, all I was doing was...
That's exactly what I mean, mate. Seriously. In fact, when Daz was here... I'll cheers that. When Daz was here, we used to applause that one, so cheers, Ray.
Cheers,
seriously, absolutely brilliant. So, we've just talked about what's going on the radio. As normal, we stop as we do, and we put a link in, and then we have a bit of a chat. And I said, no, let's try and save this for the radio. You were talking about your show, right?
Yeah.
And what you just in the break, just before the bit of stuff we got. And I said, save it for this bit here because it's actually quite interesting. What was it you were just saying from there? The people that were phoning, people that were telling you stuff every day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I think as an entertainer, as soon as the lockdown happened, everybody was bored, weren't they? So what you would get, and as you said, with you having 3,500 people on your Facebook page, right, one gets a joke, and then they pass it on to everybody. But when you've got 3,000 people sending you the same joke, right?
I remember the post on Facebook. It's like, guys, I've already got this. Please stop doing it.
Stop doing it
because eventually you were inundated.
And if it wasn't for, and I'd said this to you, and I don't know whether you quite get it, but if it wasn't for me being on the radio, I would have thrown my phone away. I would have thrown my phone away. I would have switched it off. I wouldn't have had anything to do with the outside world at all, because it was just too much for me. But I made a conscious decision, as I was just saying as well, that doing the radio, I wasn't doing it for money, because obviously we weren't, there was no money about. But I made a conscious decision I was going to do it. And at some point I'm going, you know what? If I didn't, I could have a lie-in in the morning. Instead of the prep work, I could spend time with the kids who were at home. I could have helped them with their homework. I could have done stuff with the wife and the kids and all that. But every day, and I did 7 days. I did 7 days. Every day I was going onto the radio, and we were doing the updates, trying to help people through, give them a little bit of something to listen to. And if it hadn't been for that, as much as now I can say I enjoy it, I look back.
Well, I was going to ask you, how did you find it? How did you find lockdown?
Difficult.
You found it difficult?
I did. Yeah, mentally difficult. I put it into context that when it first happened, and they were saying about, remember when everybody was scared to shake hands?
Yes.
Right. As an entertainer, every single night of my working life, 50 people at least would come and shake my hand. Right. Another 20 will come and give me a hug and a kiss. Right. All these people are coming at you, right? And you're told, do this, do that, and it was awkward. It was so awkward. It still is awkward.
It's absolutely.
But to stop the spread, people like us had to stop meeting people. You tell
that's
somebody,
not your job.
Yeah, that is my job. Every night, every day, I meet people. Say 3,500 people on Facebook.
You make people holidays. They turn up. You're part of their holiday, and they want to say hi and thank you very much.
Come up to you and buy you a drink. Come up to you and want to chat to you after. And that's been the weirdest part. Is like all of a sudden, from 20 years doing that every single night, stop.
Wow.
And it was instant. Stop. I said to my wife, I said, it's about 3 weeks into. I said, who was I talking to? Oh, it was you. No other interaction with anybody else, is it? Apart, on the radio. As I say, even on the radio, I'm in a room. I've got a microphone and a screen.
That's true. So, I never thought of it like that.
Apart from my wife and kids, we never saw anybody. So you go from 20 years having 100 people a night, 150, 200 people every night coming up to you going, oh, brilliant, enjoyed that, brilliant.
And then for nothing.
And then to nothing.
It's like cold turkey. So you've done the radio, you were doing the radio all the way through that, and then also, because I do a lot on social media, I came across Lockdown Karaoke. Now, at this moment in time, Lockdown Karaoke at this moment in time, still, it's got 1.9 thousand followers on there, so nearly 2,000 followers. So what happened there? What's all that about? How did that? An idea or?
Well, it was Mel Faulkner. I'll give her a shout out for that. Mel Faulkner was on about people doing karaoke online, Because obviously we couldn't go into the pubs, all the pubs were closed. And where do you get your karaoke fix? Now a lot of the acts were doing
karaoke's a fix, by the way, is it?
Well, it is.
Listen, I can't hold a tune, honestly.
No, but karaoke for some people is a fix, whether you can or you can't sing. Now, a lot of the professional singers were all doing the online shows, weren't they? You know, and Shelley and a lot of people were doing that, but. A lot of people like to go to a bar. They like to sing. They like hearing their own voice.
Yep. Okay. I'll give you that.
Myself and Mel were talking about. She said about why don't you put a karaoke song on? So I thought, well, lockdown karaoke. Anybody wants, and I decided as well there was no PayPal or anything. People would do it for fun. It's not for professional singers to come and do the songs. It's the people that are sat in their homes. They can't. Most of them have got the karaoke on the what's it.
Yeah.
Why not? A place for you to go and watch. And we've had some crazy things. I mean, I wrote about 4 parodies. I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I wrote Lou Rolls. I'm working on one now, actually.
Are you?
Yeah.
Premiere it with me. Premiere it. One day we'll have a look at it. It was like,
we didn't start the virus.
We didn't start the virus.
It was from a lab in China or a Asian diner.
Yankovic.
Yeah, well, I did Lou Rolls, which because everybody was, and it was called the Bog Roll Bandit with Lou Rolls. You'll never find a softer bum like mine. You know, and it was like, and funnily enough, and I tell you, it was on the day that I was going to record it, I wrote it.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, I need toilet roll. Right, so I asked all my neighbours to give me the toilet rolls, and I went down to the local Herman's shop.
Yeah.
And on the front of the Sun was the title Bog Roll Bandit. Right.
And you went, I'm having it.
So I bought the Sun.
Yeah.
I bought 2 things of.
Come on.
I bought 2 big things of toilet roll.
Yeah.
And a box of sanitary towels. Right, because I had a line in there. You might find it foul, but you'll never find me with a sanitary towel.
Oh, wow.
And so I've gone to the counter with these toilet rolls, the newspaper with Bog Roll Bandit, and this sanitary. I mean, that's my wife.
I just apologise for all the TikToks that I did in the lockdown. I've already apologised for it. I think you might need to apologise.
Oh,
but it kept you sane.
It did, and
it kept you going.
I did it, filmed it. I'm sat on the toilet, reading the newspaper with the title Bog Roll Bandit, and then the music did.
Oh my god! I remember one of the things about also that I remember from the lockdown as well was you did a Sunday session.
Yeah.
And your Sunday session was 6 o'clock or something like that. 6 till 7ish. Yeah. And the one that I remember was you're going live from your house. Imagine going right. You're there. You're going to go live from your house. The trouble is you've got neighbours that don't like you going live. So you did one in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And you said, if the police turn up, I'm just going to jump into the shower.
Yeah.
No, I remember this. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go live. And if the police turn up, I'll just jump straight through. You're like, you're singing next to a shower curtain.
Yeah, I know.
That was how balmy it was.
It was crazy times. I mean, the thing was, it was for an hour, and I've got 2 boys and the missus, and we're outside crossing the legs going, Dad, can we use the toilet now?
It was just so weird when you think about that. It's like the stuff that we do and the stuff that you get up to.
Do you know the most comment I had on that was the acoustics is good?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. There's another one. There's another one. Like there was a lockdown concert on BBC or something like that, and that's when Elton John did "I'm Dill Dandy." Remember that?
Yeah,
it was awful. But Little Mix were there, and they did it all out of their 4 different houses in the toilets.
Yeah.
Shelley, as normal, she had great acoustics.
Great
acoustics. She absolutely nailed it. Yeah. But it was just. I look back on these times for me, and it's like I will take these bits out of it, and I thought they were hilarious. To me, I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And to see it yourself or what you did, do you look the same way when you look back at it as well?
Yeah, I think definitely there was. As I said, when you look back at and you try and you pull out the positives from it. You pull out the positives from what had happened. You know, as I said before, it's very difficult to find positives in something that is just affected every single person.
Yeah.
You know, we're all on the breadline. We're all struggling for money.
There's a financial element that's hitting everybody. Without a shadow, it's hitting everybody. But that goes across the whole of the board, really, on the island.
Yeah.
Until you guys start coming back over, I mean, Ray, do us a favour. You've got 4,000 fans, mate. Tell them to come over. Come over.
Yeah.
Because that's what it comes down to. Until you guys start coming over, the island's not really going to...
Do you know the other thing that really, and when you say with the 3,500, 4,000 people that I have as friends, it's all of a sudden you realise how lucky you are. There was a phrase everybody said, you can count all your real friends on one hand, right?
You can't.
And, seriously, and that is quite mad. And I think, you know, over the years, a lot of people as entertainers think they're the stars, right? They think I'm up there, and everybody else is just no. Without the people, without the people that come and watch it, without the ones that come and you know, as I say, and I think a lot of time I've reflected on the positive comments I've had. As I say, you look. I mean, I went like everybody. We go through a bit of a bad time, but there's always somebody worse off. Yeah. And how can you wallow in your own pity? Yeah. When everybody else, but these people, and even though things are going bad in their lives, will rally round and say, "Come on," you know.
But even the thing is, again, just going back over it. Sorry, again, people have looked to you. People have looked to you through the moment of March, April, May, June. I did. I was on there online straight away, getting it on, and I was off doing stuff around the house. We're looking to you to find out what the news was, what was going on, but also more importantly, just what the day-to-day stuff was happening. Yeah. And it's bringing normality into the day, which people don't realise how important that normality needs to be for a lot of people. And again, credit to you, commendable for you from that. So you've done the radio show, you did the karaoke, you went live on a Sunday as well. That's now all finished. Yeah. Grandis is reopened. We're in Grandis, it's reopened. Thank God. Yeah, come down. You're doing your Saturday nights down here as well. You do a couple of nights down.
Friday and Saturday.
Saturday nights down here as well. The thing is, you're back up on stage. You're back in front of real people, talking to real people as well. Yeah. Where do you see the next? Let's say the next 2 months. First of all, let's do a 2, 4, 6. So 2 months is October, November. Sorry, in October, November. Where do you see the next 2 months?
I don't see too much of a change at the moment until this is sorted, until the whole COVID thing is sorted. You know, so I was doing the figures, as you know, on the radio, and I've cut down. We were doing them every day, and obviously we're getting the figures, and they were quite scary.
We've just talked about, we had a little bit of a glitch on the phone, so we're back again, but we've just talked about the July the 14th. You said there was how many cases on July the 14th?
There were 64 cases.
64 across the whole of the Canary Islands?
That's every island. That's the 8 islands if you count.
Which is amazing, brilliant, because it's gone up and down, that's the way it was. And today we're October the 12th. And how many have we got now?
6,740 or something along that.
But it's peaked over 7,000.
Last week there was 2 days it was over 7,000, and you know, it's just amazing when you think how you can get into that. We've got to the grips of it, and then all of a sudden, bang, it's gone high.
Gone again.
So you know, I don't think over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months anybody can make any predictions or.
No. But you've got from there, we said that's the 2 months, so 4 months, you think it's going to be, and you can't really see any further than it, can you?
I think part of the problem is that so many people have lost holidays in the past 6, 7 months. So 6, 7 months, they've lost one, they've rebooked, they've weddings, everything that you've been planning. Yeah. Look, even if next week Boris and the world go, right, okay, you can book a holiday again, or you can do whatever, you can travel.
They can change it like that.
They can change it like that. And people who were caught here, I mean, don't forget, when it came out of lockdown, we had people coming out here, and then suddenly being told that, oh, no, when you get back now, you've got to quarantine. So it's been a bit of a nightmare for people, and once bitten, twice shy. You know, everybody's going to be like that. So
I can imagine it. From that point then, though, you're talking about the next 2 months, next 4 months, and you're seeing how it's gone. How's it like now compared to the other islands? Because you actually fly to the other islands now to do your show. Because you do on location. I've seen you on location in Gran Canaria. I've seen you on location on the places.
I found that Gran Canaria had the biggest spike.
They had the biggest spike.
They've had the biggest spike, and their figures now have doubled Tenerife. Tenerife was the highest.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they again over. I think in Tenerife, since the lockdown happened, it's if I get it right, about 3,500, where there's been 7,500. Wow. Just in Gran Canaria. So it's double what they've had in Tenerife. So it's been quite weird. But I was surprised last weekend. I went to do an outside broadcast at Barbacoa. And
where's that?
It's in Puerto Rico at the Europa Centre.
Okay.
It's a big venue. Yeah, Gran Canaria, big venue. and that area, they're not allowed any singing at all.
None whatsoever?
None whatsoever, right? No singers are allowed to perform. So the entertainers have now been doing like, they've been doing quizzes and, you know, I mean, but they're trying to, they're struggling to get by. So when I went there and I said, oh, I'll give you you're not allowed. You're not allowed to sing. So, you know, I mean, in some respects, but then in Play the English, they are allowed. So they're on.
How does that work?
Yeah, exactly. Different municipalities and all that.
Municipalities?
Yeah. So but it just shows how different it is in different areas. So
absolutely bizarre. I mean, we must be lucky in essence then in Tenerife.
Totally, yeah.
That we still get the singers singing and still get the entertainment going as well. And that's slowly. I mean, I think the entertainers are slowly finding their own feet again and finding a new direction the way they want to go with it.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's nice to see that people are starting to get like bars that are open are starting to advertise now that they're here, and you know we've got entertainment on this place here as well. I think it's still right at the beginning. I put the sign of what was going on in the place as well, which is really good. We've done the past, we've done the present. Come on, Ray, what about the future? What about the future? Come on.
I'm not having any more kids. I'm not having any more kids. And my wife wants to know if she's got to buy a hat if you and Shelley are getting married.
Calm down. Calm down, son. No.
So ask me the future,
I'm interviewing you, remember?
Yeah, I know.
But it's, no, what do you think? I mean, your future's here, your boys are here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, there's a lot of acts that have gone back.
Yes.
And you know this.
Yeah, we've talked about that in the past shows as well.
And it's a shame, but I've looked at it, and I think if I didn't have kids, I might have gone back.
Really?
Yeah. I you know, it's. At the moment, I mean, I wouldn't say forever, but
I
think
but just to like get over it.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, even though I've done this job ever since leaving school, if I was back in the UK and there's a night watchman's job or working in Asda or you know anything, car park attendant, I would go and do it because obviously you need to work.
That's what you do, isn't it?
You've got to provide. So
absolutely.
Unfortunately, if I went back, I'm going to be in the same situation, and my kids and uprooting them and everybody else to go. Plus, I've got my wife's Irish and I'm English, so again, where do you go?
Right, yeah, I get that. One of the things I want to finish, it's going to finish, it sounds a little bit on a low at the moment, is just because I want to explain to people, if you're in the UK and you've had your lockdown and you think it's tough, etc., I wanted to touch on this story that happened to you when the lockdown first lifted. And you were allowed, when the lockdown first lifted, we were allowed to leave our house, but you're only allowed to be 1 kilometre geographical from your area. So if you put on Google Maps, this is where I live, and you're in that 1 kilometre circle. Something happened to you on that, which is, I know it's an awful thing, but I just wanted to get across to people who are watching, if you're in the UK, just actually how strict it was over here, even though this is wrong, by the way, but how strict it was.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm still gobsmacked at the story itself. And
start the story. And you've not mentioned it on the radio, have you?
Well, sort of, yeah, because the one thing is because of what I've been doing over the past 6 months, and not dictating to people, but all I've said is that it's not my rules.
Guiding.
It's not my rules. I'm just explaining to people what they should or shouldn't do as far as the guidance is concerned.
Let me set this all out. So, lockdown finished, we're allowed to leave the house. You've got to be in 1 kilometre area of where you live.
You're allowed out for 1 hour.
For 1 hour, certain time of the day.
If you had 2 kids, only 1 child with 1 parent.
Yeah,
right?
So we're talking April, May, June-ish?
Yeah, it was, end of May.
End of May-ish? Okay, so you went out with one of your boys.
Yeah.
You stayed in the 1 kilometre area. Tell me the story. Let's start the story from there.
Well, it was the second day of lockdown. When lockdown was lifted, we were allowed out with our children. Children under the age of 14.
I remember. Yeah, under 14. Yeah.
My son was 13. He's a big lad. He looks quite, but we had to make sure we took our identification and everything else with us. I planned out a route on his push bike.
Yeah. So you're out for a cycle, right?
Out for a cycle. I made sure I had it on my phone. And we stopped for a drink just next door. Just next door here.
All right, okay. Yeah.
And we stood with the bikes having a quick drink, and the police came and said, he's not 14. And I was like, no, he's only 13. Gave him the identification. He took a photo. He said, are you more than 1 kilometre? I said, no. And I showed him on my phone. I said, look, we've done everything right. And I said, is everything okay? He says, you shouldn't stop for a drink. It's not essential. right? And I thought, you really are pushing at this.
Yeah.
But he says, no, off you go. And he went off. 5 months later, I receive a fine in the post saying that I owe, and it said €400.
That's ridiculous.
Now,
That's
again,
ridiculous.
So, what do you do? I mean,
what would you do?
What would you do? Yeah, I mean,
what would you do? I mean, that's
but
just
on the back
stupid.
of the fine, it says if you pay within 15 days,
No,
you get half the price,
yeah.
right? So I thought, listen, if I take it to court, if I do anything, right, it's just going to go on and on and on. I could lose it.
Yeah.
So I went to pay €200, and they wouldn't accept it.
They wouldn't accept it?
No. So Paul at the MHT
Yeah.
said, I'll get my solicitor to ring up and find out what's happened.
Yeah.
And he got back to me and he said, no, the fine is for €800, half the price is €400, and that's why they won't accept €200. So in the end, we've written a letter, and fingers crossed. I mean, I've explained. The one thing I don't get is, I've told everybody.
Yes. You're guiding people what the guidelines are.
And I did everything
and you're following the guidelines.
But if you look on my Facebook feed on that particular day,
Hundreds.
Well, on that particular day, what I said was, well done to the police for checking, because the other reason I thought they wanted to take my details was because there was that hour curfew. So if you were out, so if I was out again in a couple of hours, they would go, we've got you on record here. So
this is how strict it is over there. I mean, I genuinely believe there's a mistake been made, and hopefully it'll get rectified for yourself. But just to give you a bit of an idea, this is what's actually happening on the island. People in the UK who some people might just be playing at it, I don't know, and other people are following it to the T. This gentleman here was actually giving people the guidelines of how to do it, and he got caught out unfairly, unjustly, actually whilst following the rules as well. And I just find that such a bizarre story, and hopefully it goes back in your favour. I hope at the end of it goes through the right direction. I've seen it, I followed it on Facebook, I followed it on social media, and I remember the day you put that up, and there were hundreds of people of support for you as well. So hopefully that works as well for itself, for its favour.
Well, you said that we better leave on a plus.
Yes.
I'll go and get the drinks in.
Dead right, that's the way to do it. And there you go, you see. And that's how we have to go at the bar over here. That's how it works. It's the only way you can do it. If you leave the table, you've got to put your mask on. Cheers, Ray. Thank you very much. But if you leave the bar, you've got to put your mask on, and that's the way we actually present ourselves now to the bar, to everywhere. That's our normality.
It is our normality.
That new normality. Them two words.
Oh.
But it is. It is for me. Cheers, Ray. Thank you very much. Listen, when it comes down to this thing, this podcast, it's a bit of humour, a bit of fun. Hopefully you guys find it interesting. I wanted to speak to people that have actually influenced me or helped me over the period of COVID, get to know people, try and get to know people a little bit more, the stuff that people have been doing. Hence the reason these are the sort of people that I've done in the past, and you now. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It really has. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a bit different to get interviewed rather than interviewing somebody else.
No, isn't it?
That's ridiculous. That's so weird to actually, the voice of COVID is actually on the podcast. That's so weird. It really is.
Wear your masks. Wear your masks.
That's it. Still going to do it. Wear those masks. Where now for yourself, if we were going to carry on with this podcast now, who would you like to see on the podcast next?
Cool.
Who do you think would be the...
I'll tell you, Janet Anscombe.
Oh, interesting. She's just been given an MBE.
I know she has.
She wants
that's why I think, no, of course she will. I'll have a word.
Like you see, you've got friends in high places, that's the way it works. But she's just got an MBE.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, guys, the reason why she received the MBE, Janet Anscombe, is on the island. She's a blogger.
Yeah.
And she, for the people who don't speak Spanish, she literally did take all the information.
She did, and we interviewed her a couple of times on the radio as well, and that was very interesting. I mean, we chose about 3 reliable sources for us to.
She's definitely one of them,
and she was definitely one of them. Everybody, well, I still see it now. I mean, do you ever remember? I'd say when you look back, it's like one rule was one person in the car. One person in the car at any time, right? And it doesn't matter how many times somebody says, well, if I want to take my wife to, one person in the car. If I'm going to take my family to one person in the car, what do you not get?
I remember she did that. She says, at what point do you not understand one person in the car?
One person in the car.
I remember she said that. She absolutely did. Right, you put a good word in for me, Ray. I'll see what I can do with that.
I will do, yeah.
From me personally, and most probably from a lot of people that were listening, if you're in Tenerife, you listen on Coast FM, that's where we find you 10 till 2 on Coast FM. If you're in the UK and you've got your Alexas, what do you say on Alexa? Play Coast FM.
Play Coast FM.
Canaries, I think
Canaries,
it is.
yeah.
And you play Coast FM Canaries, you'll get this gentleman from 10 till 2.
Download the app. You can find it online.
Coast FM, you got the app?
Yeah,
Coast FM. It's definitely worth listening to. For me, it was. I found it. It's a great radio station. It plays great music for people my age, for our lifetime. None of that beatboxing and all that. We'll leave that for all the young kids. But it's been really good. Ray, once again, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure meeting you again.
And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we'll see you on the next one. All the best. Cheers.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Ray. Thanks, buddy.